Angela, and we're here at the Huron Public Library. We're doing our adult crafts today, and we're doing yarn coaster weaving. So if you signed up, you would have gotten a kit, and in the kit we have the instructions. You're going to have white yarn, and then you're also going to have an assortment of yarn colors. Okay. And then also a piece of mat board, a plastic needle, and then the things you're going to need from home are a ruler, a pair of scissors, and then a fork. This one's plastic, but you can have metal, and then a pen or a marker. That's everything. Let's get started. Alright, so our first step is that we want to take our mat board and grab your ruler and your pen or marker, and we're going to mark out on the short side, because it's 5 by 7, on the 5-inch side, I'm going to mark out every 1/4 of an inch. So grab our ruler. We're just going to put a little mark at every 1/4 inch spot here. Then what you're going to do is take your scissors and put a little cut on each of your marks. Grab my scissors. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take your ruler and lay it on there, and then just mark every 1/4 of an inch. There we go. Okay, so now that we have both ends cut, you're going to grab your white yarn, and I have it on cardboard so it doesn't get tangled, and we're just going to unravel it here. Unravel it kind of in a pile on top of each other so you don't get any knots when we decide to use it here. There we go. And you're going to start from the back, and you want about a 5-inch, 6-inch tail to start with. And you're going to go right in the first notch there, so it's held. And then you're going to go around your tag board, all the way around through each notch until you reach the end. On the last one, you can cut another 6-inch tail. We don't need the rest of the yarn. There we go. So this is our loom. Alright, so now you're going to take your plastic needle and then your assorted colors. You can pick whatever color you want to start with. I'm going to start with brown. And there's 10 feet of yarn on each of these little cardboard pieces. So if that's too much yarn for you to work with, you can either cut it in half or just use a chunk at a time. So I took about half. I'm going to cut it here. And then we're going to take our brown yarn and stick it through our needle. Stick it through there. Okay. And then for our first row, you want to start about 1 inch the way down. And we're going to go under, over, across. So just go under, over. There we go. Okay. And so we don't get tangled. You want to leave about a 4 to 5-inch tail. We'll weave the tails in at the end of our weaving here. Okay, pull it all the way through so we have about a 4 to 5-inch tail on our end. Like that, and then we'll go back. So when you go back, you want to do the opposite of what you just did. So since I started over, I'm going to start under. There you go. Careful not to pull your ends too tight. It'll cause extra tension. Okay. Okay. And after you get it like this, you're going to take your fork and you're going to push it together after every row. That way it's even. And you want it fairly tight so you don't see white between your stitches. Okay, we'll go back one more time with brown, and then we'll switch colors. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to switch colors for my brown and just trim off so you leave a tail of about 5 inches for brown. Next we'll do orange. I'm just going to take some off. I don't need the whole thing. Okay. Same thing. You're going to thread the yarn onto your needle. And then if you ended over here and you were going over, you're going to start going under. So we'll go under and weave in like we just did, just with a different color. And this is from the back, so we'll get that out of the way. Okay. Pull it all the way through. And you're going to leave another 4 to 5 inch tail at the end here. Okay. And then do what you did before. Take your fork and shove it up close to the other one. Okay. So now we're going to go back, and since we ended over, we start under. So under, over. Pull through. And if you don't have a plastic needle for any reason, you could use a bobby pin as well. Okay, pull it all the way through. Careful of your end here. Okay, and then take your fork and push it back up. Oh, I messed up. You see how I have double? So somewhere along the line I skipped I did 2 instead of 1. So we're gonna pull it out and we'll have to go back. Here we go. Rethread my needle. And so I went under, now I need to go over. Okay. There we go, much better. So what you're going to do is you're going to continue this pattern all the way down, and you can do big chunks, little chunks of color, as long as you leave your tails at the end, and then you're going to go until you reach about 1 inch from the bottom. So I have one that's done. Let's move this one off to the side. So when you're done, it's going to look kind of like this. So you're going to have a variety of colors and a bunch of tails. So what we're going to do next is we're going to weave these tails in so that they aren't shown. Okay, so to weave in our ends, what you're going to do is take one at a time, put them back on your needle here, and then I ended under, so I'm going to go over this one, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle and you're going to go underneath your yarn of all colors, but only the top layer because you don't want to go to the back. So it just fits right underneath there, and you don't have to go all the way down, just pick a spot. That's good, and pull it through. Okay, and then you're going to snip the end off so that you don't see it. And then spread it out a little bit, like that. Okay, so we're going to take our next tail, put it onto your needle, and then I'm going to go under, because I ended over to the top, and then just go straight down. I can go down the side or the middle one, doesn't matter, as long as you're under that top layer so that they can't be seen. Okay, and don't go to the bottom layer because you don't want it sticking out the back when we flip it over. See, pull it through, and then we're going to snip off the end, like that, and then just spread it out so that it's underneath there. You can also use your fork for this if you need to move them around a little bit. Take your next tail, put it on your needle, and this one ended under, so I'm going to go over one. Okay. I'm going to go under this one because that's where I ended up, and you're going to go under that top layer. I'll go down a little further so they don't all end up at the same spot. Okay. And then just snip off that end. Coaster, what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and we're going to cut to the back. Just cut it right down the center. Okay? This. Okay. Spread them out and then just peel them off your mat board. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to finish off our ends. And as you can see on this one, I went on the front a little bit when I weaved in. So if you want to go back and fix that, you sure can. Otherwise, that'll just be our back. Okay, so I just took it off the tag board and we're going to finish our ends for the white side. So we'll do this end and then we'll flip it over into this side. So this tail got a little long. Let's make it all the same length here. So you're going to start on your right side and we're going to do 2 at a time. So you're going to take these 2 and do a half knot, and then the one that's on the right you'll pull up. Okay? Take your next one, same thing, you do a half knot, the one that's on the right will go up and do it all the way across. So I hold this one on my left, use my right hand and pull it up. Again, you're going to take the one on your right, do a half knot, the one on the left, and pull the one on the right up. Take the next one, do a half knot, and pull the one on the right up. Okay, we'll just keep going all the way down. And gives it this nice edge on there. Okay, so we just made it to our end. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these down. Flip it over. We're going to go one more time back. You just made a whole bunch of half knots. Now we're going to do it back and then I'll make the second half of the knot. So take your end 2 and do the exact same thing. Take your right, go around this one, and the right one will go up for the half knot. All the way down. Okay? Now we're going to flip it over and do our double knots. Alright, so we're going to divide these into 2 and you're going to tie a double knot as close as you can to this ridge as possible. So we're going to take our next 2, wrap it around to create a double knot. Okay, bring it through and then see if we can get it as close to that ridge as possible. Perfect. That way these knots will reassure that our weaving doesn't slide off. The next 2. Go around and through and slide it up as close as we can. There we go. Next one. Oh, I lost my yarn there. Last one. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with this side on this side. Okay, so we have our last knot we're going to tie here. Do a double knot on the end. Do it on my yarn. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay it flat and trim my ends a little bit so they're all kind of the same length here. Okay. I'll do it on both sides. There we go. And we are all done. Here is our coaster. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Angela here at the Huron Public Library. We'd love to see some pictures if you want to share them with us on Facebook. And craft registration for our next craft for November is open. So if you want to sign up, please call the library or go on our webpage at library.huronsd.com. Thank you very much for joining us.